Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman over on the far side, and this is why you got to watch the show on YouTube. You'll notice that Dave Mills is in the middle here. Dave Mills is in the middle here, joining us on the Morning Sports Desk, the activities director at Bertha-Hewitt. Dave, once again, thanks for taking the time to join the program.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And thanks for giving me a chance to talk about the great things we got going on here at Bertha-Hewitt.
You know, we've had a number of text messages go back and forth between us here at the station, and they have often included the phrase, "What a fall for Bertha-Hewitt athletics." Where do you even want to start with what's going on in that school this fall? It's been awesome.
Yeah, it really has. I'll start with cross country. We've obviously had a lot of success the last couple of years. And we knew we still had some strong runners coming back. We did graduate some pretty strong runners, so we kind of thought the program would take a little bit of a hit. But, I mean, we still got Brady Rock, who's ranked, I think, number 4 in the state right now at single A for cross country. And but then, Henry Lockwood, another, strong group of seniors. We have some young runners that are coming up as well. So the team is a little light. We only have, 6 boys running right now. But, I mean, the 6 that we got are great runners, and they're really making a good push. I wouldn't be surprised for them to, make another run at, the top 1 or 2 at sections and see them at state again this year. On the girls' side, we don't have enough girls right now to run a varsity team, but the 4 individuals that we have are just running absolutely spectacular. They're doing really, really well. So individually, seeing a lot of success for the girls as well. With the cross country program. So exciting stuff for them. Really proud of that group. They're just always continuing to work hard. And then as we mentioned real quick before we came on, we do have our home meet coming up tomorrow. That's in Eagle Bend at the golf course, Double Eagle. So that race will start at 4:00. We'll do an elementary fun run, followed by the junior high boys and girls, and then varsity girls, varsity boys.
And, it's a testament to the work. I know that there's a lot of people that have gone involved in getting Bertha-Hewitt cross country up off the ground and getting going in the early success. And obviously the coaching staff you have in place there, for lack of a better term, and I mean this complimentary, Dave, they're lunatics about running.
Yeah. No, it's they eat it, live it, breathe it. And that's, to have a top level program like that, you need to have that kind of support from the coaching staff who really push the kids, to be the best that they can be. So we appreciate the heck out of Mr. Miller and what he's done with the program, taking over for Al Hansen, who kicked it off in 2019, really built it up, and then Kenny's kind of taken over and brought it to where it's at today. So very fortunate to have those people in place. Yes.
So let's move to the volleyball program. The coaching staff remains the same, although there's some role reversals, but another nice fall for Bears volleyball. Mm-hmm. Where are they standing? Where's the season at?
Yeah, so right now 7-4 on the year. So good. I mean, obviously 7 wins, 4 losses. It's a great start. Went to the Browerville tournament 2 weeks ago. It didn't really know what we would do when we went to there. Didn't really know what competition we were facing, but ended up taking 2nd place in that tournament. So it was good to see, them do well at that stage there. Our nemesis right now seems to be the Hornets of Henning. We faced them in the tournament. We lost to them in the finals, and then just saw them on Thursday night for a homecoming volleyball game, and they got us in 3 sets. You take those 2 matches out of our schedule, we're sitting pretty good wins and losses wise. But to go back to the coaching staff, we have Sammy McDaniel. Her first year as our varsity head coach. She was the JV coach last year. And then Brooke Zastro, who had been our head coach the last couple of years, is now the JV coach. So they essentially just flip-flop roles. What's great is, them wanting to make that switch. And I give Brooke a lot of credit. She wanted to step down from the lead role, but very much wants to be supportive and part of our volleyball program. And I appreciate her, doing that and staying with the team instead of just cutting ties. So she's done a fabulous job the last couple of years. And, she just wanted a little more time with the family, which is, totally understandable. So.
And, too, it's that stability that it gives a program, and to be able to have a head coach who is an assistant, and then also the former head coach who stays in that role just for the girls there and for any sport really, but to have that stability at coaching now. This has been a few years where this coaching staff has been in place, and you can really kind of see it growing with the girls, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, and with our group right now, I mean, we're a fairly young team, I would say. We have 3 seniors on the team. But we play some freshmen and we play a lot of sophomores right now. So the fact that they're winning matches and they're a real scrappy team, it's fun to see. And I just think they're going to get better as the year goes on, and can't wait to see how those younger kids progress in their careers. So good things for the volleyball program coming, I think.
Well, we've talked a lot about programs and building programs, and the same can be said. The same can be true about the football team, and Coach Humberg's now been in it and at it for a while. And there's a group of seniors who have now, this is their run through high school with nobody else but him as their head coach. And It's paying dividends so far this fall, isn't it?
Yeah, so Jared Humberg's in his 5th year as our head coach here, which is crazy. Him and I just talked about that last week. I can't believe it's been that long. But we're 4 years away from being 0-8 and really struggling as a program. And, even Jared in the 2nd year questioning, am I the right guy for this job? But, just seeing the results and just the character that he's built in our football players and how he preaches that every day with them. And the hard work that they're now showing with the senior group, he's absolutely the right guy for the job. And off to a 4-0 start. QRF right now, the new rankings probably just came out this morning. I haven't seen them, but last week we were number 1 in the state for 9-man football for QRF. So, are they that good? I don't know. I mean, time will tell with, how the rest of the season plays out, but fun to see those kids in the conversation anyhow. And they'll get their chance to prove if they can, play with the top teams in the state. So, they've worked real hard for it. Our coaching staff and the senior group. Football is you rely on your seniors as a football team. And when you've got, 8 seniors like we do, and 7 of them start for us at both ways, it makes it for a fun season so far.
And, to the facility there at the Bertha-Hewitt football field, and talking with Coach Humberg in the preseason, he said, it's just great to see more and more fans come. And he said it's been great. He said he hasn't seen the stands packed, and this was before this season started. He said he hasn't seen the stands packed like this in a while. And just to see that, and to see that football field filled up. I know the Lions got the burgers going, and to see, I know you guys have invested in that facility with the press box and with the game clocks, and the play clocks. And all that kind of stuff. How great is it too, just to see all that kind of come together and get to see the students really enjoy that?
Yeah, they say winning puts butts in the seats, but I think even dating back to the last couple of years, as we were starting to build things up more and more, we have seen higher attendance, which is good. When we do our live streams through Huddle, I think Jared said, I've never seen the numbers, but he said one point you can look back and see how many people are viewing, and we had 1,000 people watching one of our football games, which is absolutely incredible. So just to show the support we get from the community and people who are associated with Bertha-Hewitt in the past. I feel like him and I have made a conscious effort to make football games an experience. We want to have the best football field at any team. Every time they come, we get compliments on how nice the field is, and that goes out to our custodial staff and everyone involved that makes games happen. And the addition of the play clocks, just little details here and there. We try to just add something new every year to make it a better experience for the kids and for fans.
Well, Dave, this is an opportunity now for you to talk about anything else, highlight anything else that's happening this fall around Bertha-Hewitt, anything highlighted that we've missed, anything coming up. What's happening at Bertha-Hewitt this fall?
The big one tomorrow, cross-country meet. We already talked about that in Eagle Bend, so come support the cross-country team tomorrow down there. That'd be fantastic. Volleyball, we have our our annual varsity volleyball tournament coming this Saturday that we host. We got 8 schools coming, so including us will be a 9-team tournament. So I feel like we do a pretty good job with that, and it's always a good tournament, a good turnout. So good chance to see a lot of quality volleyball that day. And football team, we got Sabika coming up this Friday. They kind of nipped us last year. So we're hoping to avoid that same situation where we went in with a 3-1 record, and then they kind of brought us back down to earth a little bit last year when it comes to football. So hoping to avoid that letdown, and hopefully we can have a strong game against Topeka on Friday. Yeah, other than that, we're just, rolling along and hoping for continued success from our programs.
And Dave, one last thing, and then we'll let you get out of here. I did notice too, when I did a volleyball game a couple weeks ago against New York Mills, got a new floor in that Bertha-Hewitt gym. And I got to say, it looks great.
Yeah, I should have brought that up. That's my bad. Thanks for bringing it up. But yeah, brand new gym floor. Worked on it this summer, and we couldn't be more happy with it. I mean, it's spiced things up a little bit. We got that big blue bear paw in there, which was, our floor committee went back and forth. Is it too big? Is it too small? But I think they got it just right. So, excuse me. But it's very exciting to add something like that for our kids to play on.
I saw a post over the weekend. UMass added a center logo on their basketball court. They put the entire state of Massachusetts in the middle of their floor. So the joke was that you could, as an announcer, yell from the logo. It would just be like a post turnaround.
Yeah.
And it's almost the entire floor. So you can't make the center logo too big, in my opinion.
I'm in the same boat that you are. If I would have made that bear paw bigger, but I had to fight for what we got. So I'm happy. I'll take what we got.
Dave Mills, the activities director over at Bertha-Hewitt, joining us here on the morning sports desk. Dave, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for coming on and letting us know what's happening at Bertha-Hewitt, and we'll check on you come the wintertime.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Anytime, and we'll catch you later.
See you.
Once again, want to thank Bertha-Hewitt Activities Director Dave Mills for taking the time and joining us on the morning sports desk. Always good to catch up with the old alma mater and see what's going on there. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of good things, and we'll do another Activities Director interview a week from today. It's kind of our thing now. Every Monday, we want to talk with an Activities Director, recap the weekend, preview the week ahead, and see what's going on. It's always great to check in with the schools around the area. Corey, it's also great to check in over at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. And why don't we just do that right now? What's going on?
Well, what's new at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena is what's old. And that is you could win a Nintendo Switch 2 and a 50-inch TV. It's the ultimate prize giveaway, and it's a big dang deal, as they say. How do you get entered? Well, if you already have a FunZone Rewards account, you're automatically entered to win. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member yet, just scan the QR code as you're watching the Morning Sports Desk on YouTube. You can scan the QR code. Obviously, you're going to stop in and see the fine folks at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. You'll see the QR code up and around. You'll be able to scan it there. Or on their Facebook page, just give it a scan. And that's your entry. Make the account, become a FunZone Rewards member, and you are officially in. Now, it's the 22nd of September, which means you have just over a week, 8 days left. You have until September 30th to get your entry in to win a Nintendo Switch 2 and a 50-inch TV. It's the ultimate prize giveaway, CJ, from the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, a busy weekend of Minnesota sports. Not only that, Sunday was the best day for Minnesota sports probably in quite a while. Not only did the Twins win, not only did the Vikings obliterate the Cincinnati Bengals, but your Minnesota Lynx also took game one of the second round semifinal series. Who has it better than us?
Nobody.
Move
this really quick.
Let's start off. First of all, Twins, they won. Cool. They got a week left.
Hold on. I got to move this so you can see. Look at it right next to each other. The Lynx and the Vikings right next to each other on the back wall, prominently displayed.
What does it mean that you have the Wolves pinning in between the Twins Homer hankies?
I just wanted to break it up. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted to break something up with the Twins. The Polads wanted to break something up with the Twins. It all comes together.
The Twins have 2 series left, and that's great.
Thank goodness. Anyway, day off today, 3 in Texas, 3 in Philadelphia. And then mercifully, we could put more local games on KWAD. So that's the silver lining. Let's first start off, Corey, with the Minnesota Vikings completely obliterating the Cincinnati Bengals. All not right from the jump, but my goodness, by halftime, this game, you could have just skipped it. You could have just ended the game right there and been like, wow, what a dominant victory. In the second half, it kept it up. And we could talk about Carson Wentz coming in and doing his job and whatever. But I think this game was won because of the defense and mainly Isaiah Rodgers having a pick six, a scoop and score, another forced fumble and recovery, and then a third forced fumble as well, or basically 3 forced fumbles and an interception and 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
The first Vikings player to ever have 2 defensive touchdowns in a game in franchise history. Have we seen a more dominant defensive performance from a Vikings player?
Well, no. I mean, you just said it. You just gave the whole stat line. No, of course not. It was ridiculous what he did. I mean, I think whatever. I don't need to repeat everything that he did. That was stupid. And I would also like to point out that Bengals performance is one of the all-time sloppiest performances I've ever seen from a professional football team.
So, my goodness, they stink. I know Joe Burrow's hurt, but we knew Joe Burrow was holding up that franchise, but they didn't even look that good with Joe Burrow in there this year. They are bad, and it kind of comes to, this is the thing where it's talked about of teams that don't invest in their offensive line are really reaping the benefits of that, or kind of not of that. And the Cincinnati Bengals are a team that tried to invest in their offensive line, but whiffed to the point where, as Vikings fans, we know this, you have to panic sign Dalton Reisner before the season.
Yeah.
And he got hurt and whatever. You could clearly, it was the Vikings offensive line hasn't produced, and injuries are a big reason why. But oh my goodness, Christian Darrisaw should immediately renegotiate his contract because it just felt so much better when he got back in there.
Well, and it was immediately evident that Christian Darrisaw was back because there just seemed to be a little more time. Also, Donovan Jackson right next to him, he had an unbelievable week 1. I think he was the top-rated offensive lineman, or at least guard,
and for sure among rookies. Yeah.
In that first week. Things were a little off in week 2, but it was a mess. Week 2, as we know, was a mess. I'm seeing stuff about him again now after the week 3 game. That is a short up left side of the offensive line for the foreseeable future for the Minnesota Vikings. And it was Isaiah Rodgers and the offensive line, and Christian Darrisaw in particular, were the immediate standouts and obvious things from that victory, in my opinion.
Sure looks better when a couple of your key players are healthy, huh?
I mean, Van Ginkel was back and making an impact early in the game. Smith played. You're like, geez,
Smith hit that interception that led to the pick 6.
Yes. Oh, no wonder. It doesn't matter the team. It helps to have your starters.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's the thing of, there's a couple things. And again, this doesn't need to be a diatribe about quarterback because the quarterback was pretty irrelevant in this game. And I mean that complimentary. But it's a little bit easier for Carson Wentz to sit there and scan the middle of the field when he's not somebody's coming right behind. He can just sit there and go, read. Oh, there's TJ Hawkinson, who, by the way, had a really huge game because he was a ghost the first couple weeks of the season. He found Jefferson a couple times. And also you got Jordan Mason going with over 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, and really looked like a good runner. And the Vikings did what they were just up by so many points. They had no choice not to, but they just ran the ball. And in the third quarter, they just ran and bled clock and got out of the game. And overall, it's a couple things. One, this was a dominant victory. The Vikings are clearly the better roster overall, even if the Bengals have the better quarterback and Burrow, who's hurt. But also, it proved that sometimes things just can get out of hand in a hurry in the NFL when you turn the ball over. And it just goes to show that this Viking, after week 1 was all right, that was shaky, but they got the win. We'll move on. Week 2 was, oh boy, they're banged up and the quarterback's hurt and he hasn't looked impressive. And what do you do here? To that win, now all of a sudden it's okay, this is still a good team. The train is still on the tracks. They have an opportunity against Pittsburgh, who didn't look that great against the Patriots, and who have an opportunity against Cleveland, who beat the Packers coming up in a couple weeks. There's an opportunity for the Vikings to go into the bye week 4-1. That is still very much a possibility, and there was a lot of pent-up frustration, it felt like, by this entire team in that game yesterday.
Well, I thought Tony Romo during the television broadcast made a really good point. He said it multiple times, and I'm a homer, so I agree with it. But it's if this offense could figure it out even just a little bit, this is a team that I think most teams are not going to want to play. Now, Cincinnati is not a litmus test team. But it was important to see them get healthy and get right in the same game on that side of the ball. And then you mentioned Carson Wentz, like, yeah, he wasn't like spectacular, but he did some things that we haven't seen a quarterback do yet so far this year, which is like
Scored a touchdown in the first quarter.
Well, but like he assessed, you could see him assess things quickly. The touchdown he threw to Oliver, he looked at Thielen, like he looked off the defense, whether Thielen was the read or Oliver was the read. I don't know. I don't know the specific play call, but he looked at Thielen and that allowed Oliver to get open and score that touchdown. And that is a benefit, in my opinion, of a little extra time and a guy who's been around a little bit and has seen some defenses. And it doesn't happen too quickly for him. He did enough. He had a couple terrible throws, but whatever. Like he's been on the team for like 3.5 weeks, so there were just some nice things happening. I thought you take the 2 scores away, the Vikings still win by 2 scores.
Right. The Vikings scored 31 points off of turnovers, and even if you take away those points, they still end up winning the football game when it's all said.
The pick 6 and the fumble return, let alone
maybe get out of hand early, but the Vikings were going to win this game.
Oh, yeah, they were a much better team. Cincinnati, with the third story is Isaiah Rodgers is 1, having Christian Darrisaw back and maybe healthy guys back to me is 2. The third thing is Cincinnati's bad. Oh. That was not a good showing on their part.
No, that is a team that didn't look good in their first 2 games, and their starting quarterback is out for 3 months. And it's boys, we're cooked this year. You can already see them making business decisions in week 3.
Can I throw a hypothetical at you?
Yeah, go for it.
Now Atlanta showed that they might still want Kirk Cousins, but why is Kirk Cousins to Cincinnati not a thing?
Probably because the Falcons just want the Falcons at this point are already on the hook for the money, and the Bengals don't want to pay anybody anything.
Well, so that's the important thing. I think that's the right answer. The first part is
yes, on a strictly player level, the Bengals are trying to kind of go with, well, Browning won us some games a few years ago, but that was in like a 1-month stretch. You can't trust Jake Browning to quarterback your whole season unless you're just going to tank. And they might just decide to do that.
And the owners they suck. That's a pretty bad, historically bad, notoriously bad.
Wads when it comes to the wallet book there. They just built a practice facility. So their players had to practice outside all year long, every season up until like this year. Good job, guys.
Good job, guys.
Anyway, so yeah, the Browns are tough. The Bengals are tough, excuse me. The Browns are not great owners, the Brown family. So looking at, you mentioned with Wentz too, and this is something we mentioned this on Friday's show, by the way. We said, there might just be something to be said about just can a guy get the ball out quick to Hawkinson, to Jefferson? Like they don't need to be making big throws downfield. Can they basically just take the snap, throw 5 yards, run the football, like make the plays that need to be played? And you could see, we talked about on Friday's show, and go back and listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts or on YouTube, is that, Jefferson and Hawkinson, they both made comments throughout the week of like, again, not throwing McCarthy under the bus. Like they went out of their way to make sure they were like, McCarthy's coming along like this, blah, blah, blah. But they're like, hey, to have a veteran come in who can he'll go up to the line and he'll be like, oh, I know what the defense is trying to do. Let's do this. And doesn't get confused by what defensive coordinators are throwing at him. And can just get the ball 1-2 throw ball out. Like that is just a huge pick me up. And there's just probably a sigh of relief from guys like Jefferson and Hawkinson where it's like, okay, I got the ball a few times. I made some plays and now we can move on. And the other thing too is Jordan Addison now comes back for this team. Now him and Wentz have never thrown a football together because by the time Wentz got there, Addison was already starting to serve the suspension. But getting Jordan Addison back, who's the best number 2 wide receiver in football, or one of the best, it's going to be tough for the Stillers to try and figure some stuff out.
There's some really positive things. You get Addison back, Naylor, who's had a nice 3 weeks. We talked in the beginning of the season that you bring in a guy like Adam Thielen to be your number 2 because he knows things. And the fact of the matter is that Naylor will be like Thielen's the 4 receiver, I guess. I think that seems to be pretty clear. But the Wentz
3A, 3B.
the Wentz performance actually reminded me of not Darnold, because Darnold hit more haymakers. Felt
Darnold liked to throw down the field. That's why everybody goes like, what's wrong with Hawkinson? It's like, well, Darnold was always looking to throw to Addison and Jefferson.
Well, and Hawkinson was also off the injury, right? So like and that's a big part of it. You're talking about a big man coming off the injury. But this Wentz performance reminded me a lot of, like, if you were to just in your mind picture a stereotypical Kirk Cousins performance.
Yeah.
Like it was, we've seen Pete Kirk Cousins. We know what he is like. He can play really good quarterback at times, but like a stereotypical, if you were to be like, what's Kirk Cousins going to do? You're gonna be like, he's going to throw the ball for 7 yards over the middle on the 3rd and 6. He's going to throw the ball for 7 yards over the middle on the 3rd and 12. That's just like this. That was the end. The Vikings won a lot of games that way. With Kirk Cousins at quarterback, and the Vikings can win games that way with Carson Wentz making those sorts of decisions. Are you going to hit as many haymakers? Are you going to hit as many home runs? Yeah, no, probably not, but you are going to keep drives alive, and you're going to give yourself a chance at a 62-yard field goal.
Exactly. My goodness. Will the thrill coming? Will the thrill coming?
That was a bomb.
By the way, they walked up to try this field goal, and I know we were all texting, you, me, and Zeke, and we were like, kick the field goal. Part of it's like a do it, you cowards, see what they can do. But I was also like, he walked into the field, and I was like, he's going to make this. I was not concerned for a second.
I was trying to think. He looks a little to me like Arrested Development Michael Cera.
Yeah. George Michael Bluth.
He's got a little Michael Cera vibe to him. He's got a little like
a quiet, awkward energy, like a Michael Cera.
Nick Swartzen were to grow his hair out and play like a bashful guy.
Yeah,
he's got a little of that going on. There's a little. What's his name? He's a New Zealand comedian. Reese Darby.
Sure.
He's got a little. I don't know. He's just as a dork. And he apparently could kick 62-yard field goals that would have been good from 70. Yeah. That was a bomb, CJ.
It's a bomb. It was a bomb. And it also just kind of put the exclamation point on, like, this is the Vikings played well. They're the better team than the Bengals. The Bengals did not play well. This is also how sometimes in the NFL, one team just has everything working for them. And that was just a testament to that of like, yeah, it was just their day. They had things work out. They had all of that.
It was not Cincinnati's day.
Yes. Great. So many fumbles. The Bengals can't run the football at all. They're a mess. Anyway, so they're a mess. Vikings 2-1. They are tied for the division lead with the Packers. The Lions withstanding tonight's game. Bears got a win. They looked good against the Cowboys, which
Did you see their first two scores.
The flea flicker I saw. I didn't see the first.
What an ugly flea flicker that was, by the way. That was like he hit him with a changeup. He hit Caleb with a changeup on the flicker part.
Yeah. It was like it was just a flea tosser.
He does have a cannon. I don't know. People have been really down on him because of the way the year started. I get why people are. He played okay against the Vikings and missed some obvious throws.
The Caleb Williams, there has never been an issue with Caleb Williams as a pure athlete and thrower of the football. It's mainly been in between the ears.
I like you say, by the way, I like how you say thrower of the football. You said it on Friday a bunch too. And that makes me laugh because what else is he throwing? That's the sport they're playing.
Thrower of the ball.
A thrower of the football. Yeah, we know what ball. We know what sport they're playing. I don't know. It makes me laugh. I like that. I like thrower of the football. There's some like sports things. Like you don't say, if you watch the Big Show, right? They don't say the NFL. They say, and in the National Football League, they always. Yeah. So I like thrower of the football. You could pin that in there with it.
The thrower of like an old NFL films, like there goes starting quarterback Carson Wentz. The thrower of the football.
He's the quarterback of a football team. What else is he supposed to throw?
Yeah. Well, Kyler Murray, Jameis Winston, a couple of those guys play baseball. So
I know, but they're not. I just like it. I just like how I like that you say it. You said it. You said it on Friday. You said it here today, and I'm looking forward to hearing you say it again when we talk about the Vikings this coming week because Aaron Rodgers turns out is a decent thrower of the football.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. Looking at by the way, some looking at a team of athletes who are good shooters of the basketball, it's the Minnesota Lynx. They are 1-0 after their win yesterday. I know they had some big injuries to their team, but the Minnesota Lynx do what the Minnesota Lynx do, and that's win another game. Corey, what's your assessments?
Just like a nice basketball game. I thought Mercury kind of came right. Mercury, geez Louise, my brain just totally went to planet somewhere else. They shot the ball like pretty well, kind of out of the gate. The Lynx just kind of hung tough. They did what they needed, to use some cliches. Like they just hung in there and just gave themselves a chance. And you could tell the crowd was just waiting for an opportunity to like blow up a little bit. I do want to, once again, I think every time we talk about the Lynx and like big Lynx games, the broadcast crew that Ryan Rucco and Rebecca Lobo, I think, do a really nice job. They're like the voice of women's basketball, the voices of women's basketball, and they're really good. And then turns out Fee is great, and she totally got snubbed. And I think and hope that everybody on the planet is like, what the hell is happening here? We're just going to start throttling people, because that was an embarrassment once again out of the league.
Also the co-defensive player of the year.
That's fine. I have no issue with that. That's fine. Two people can. I have no issue with that, CJ. Someone who was 50, 40, 90 on a team that was the number one seed in the entire playoffs and had the number one seed locked up for an entire month. The best player on the best team by far did not get the MVP. That is a crock of malarkey.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, honestly, like, name a more
The only player who's going to get recognized from this team is Alana, who's going to get co-honors with someone who also won the MVP. This is ridiculous. Oh, by the way, the commissioner wore a New York City Skyline jersey blazer during the finals last year.
Yeah, just in case there's any.
It's absolute garbage.
Awful. And I know that there's writers that go involved. Like, the league doesn't pick the MVPs. Like, it goes to the writers and things like that. But to the writers, focus on the number one player on the number one team. Anyway, so
the clear number one team, the clear best player on the clear best team.
Yeah, but the Aces, I don't care. I don't care. They lost to a fever team without Caitlin Clark yesterday. I
thought for sure too. This is my own bias here, but I thought, well, since they gave Asia the co-defensive player of the year thing, so that way it could clear up the controversy, and then they could give Fee the MVP. I just thought that's the way that was going to go, and instead she just gets every award.
Yeah, because she's got better marketing. That's pretty much it.
It makes me so mad. Now, she said some unbelievable things, and she is unbelievable. Like, she had an interview one time where she said, I don't want the conversation about the greatest of all time to ever happen without my name in it. And she's clearly now in it. You add fourth MVP to her list, like, she's clearly a part of it. You can't argue how good at basketball Asia Wilson is.
Right.
The thing that makes me mad is, like, Fee has been top 4 in MVP voting, like, for the past half a decade or something like that. And she should have won it this year. And it's just is so stupid that the best team in the league is not going to get coach of the year. It's not going to get MVP. The best they can do is one player is going to be recognized as co-defensive player of the year.
It's awful. Well, I guess we just got to win the title then.
Hallelujah. Let's win the title.
Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.